Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us. Streaming to you live, yorbamedia.com, broadcasting from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM Clear Channel Studios. All right, none other than Mr. Heavy-Duty Hitter, powerhouse guy, Nick Santiago, back on the show. Nick, how you doing, buddy?
Great, Michael. Thank you for the introduction.
You earned it, man. I'm telling you. What do you got for us today?
Well, I wanted to start the day off with Under Armour, and this has been a market leader as of late, and stock pretty much looks like it topped out around the 19th of March. Today, the stock is really retreating, staging a pretty good sell-off. You could take a look and see that it's down about $5.88 today, around the 113 level.
Everybody needs to know that UA, right?
Yes, UA, Uncle Albert. And the stock right now is trading around 113, but it looks like it has momentum to go down to the 103 level. So I know a lot of fans out there with Under Armour clothing. This stock should head down another $10 from here. So what I would suggest traders do now is you can get short, or you could wait a couple days and watch the pattern, but this should break down to around the 103 level.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, maybe they'll even have a sale.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just kidding.
They'll get a sale at 103 for a bounce, but it's going to go down to that spot.
Okay. All right. Got it. I'm sitting still. What's next?
The next one I want to talk about was Vertex Pharmaceuticals. This is a biotech that's really been somewhat of a high flyer. It's another one of these biotechs, though, that are really taking it on the chin as of late. And, you know, just a few weeks ago on your show, I was talking about how these biotechs are all going to have more downside in the cards. And I said that IBB would trade down to around the 200 level. At the time, it was trading around somewhere around 260 when we spoke. Now I'm looking at this Vertex as
wait, symbol.
VRTX.
Okay.
Okay, and that stock looks to me as if right now it's trading at $69. I think it's going to go down to $62. But that's a spot where we will be looking to buy it. So again, expect more downside in this biotech sector. But when Vertex gets down to around $62, we will be looking to snatch it up there on sale.
Okay. All right. Any idea what's going on as such a pervasive pullback in these biotechs? Because they were such high flyers. Is it just everybody decided to take profit, or is there something else going on over there?
I think we're just starting to see distribution come out of this market. I mean, each and every day, it's easy to keep the markets up when the volume is so. And when I say the markets, I mean the S&P 500. The NASDAQ, the Russell, but the NASDAQ and the Russell are lagging right now, and that's telling me that, you know, the big institutional money, they can't get out right away, but they made their money in the biotechs, and now they're taking their profits and they're getting out.
Okay.
So these equities are going to go lower, and you're just seeing stealth distribution, one sector at a time. That's how it's happening.
Okay, I got it. All right, I'm sitting still. What else you got? I'm
looking at Gilead. Ticker symbol is GILD. And that's Gilead Sciences. This is another biotech. When this gets to around $62, we'll be interested in this one as well. I know today the stock is hanging in there. Right now it's trading around $74, but I'm ultimately going to short this one in another week or so if I get the correct pattern. But I will reverse that play and buy it at $62 when it gets down to that level.
73.90 to 62. That's a good trade.
Yeah,
okay.
That should get down there also.
Okay.
The next one on my list is Amazon, and I know I spoke to you about this one a few weeks back, and I told your members, or your listeners, I should say, that you could short Amazon, and basically since I mentioned it, the stock has been cratering. This stock right now should head down to around the 310 level. 310 is where I think the stock is due to get some type of a bounce, but right now currently AMZN is trading at 333. I believe when we spoke about it on your program, the stock was somewhere around 375, 380, and now it's at 333, and it should head down to the 310 level. So, again, anybody who short Amazon, don't get out now. Around 310, though, you do want to cover that position.
No, because that's going to fill that gap that had back there in, let's see, it looks like about October of last year. Are you thinking that is a good place to start really, turn around? You want to see the pattern?
I'm not sure. I mean, I'll play it to the upside there for a bounce, okay. And then I'll have to see what kind of low is made at that point. I do think it will give you a bounce, though. Then we'd have to identify what type of bounce it was. Was it a high-volume low? Was it a good bounce with a lot of institutional support? And that would make me decide on whether I want to trade that for a longer-term play. But right now, I've just isolated that area as a good bounce area.
That's what I wanted to get out of you. What your thinking is when it goes down there. Some of the insights that go through your mind when you're making a decision about this. Thank you. All right, please go on.
Okay, and the next one I wanted to talk about was the copper market. And today, copper has been beaten up recently. It's trading around 302. Ultimately, I am expecting copper to get down to 277. So I do expect lower prices ahead for copper. I know there have been some earthquakes in Chile, and that has helped the copper market bounce. But overall, the trend is down in copper. And when it gets to around 277, 275, that's where I think traders can step in and start to pick up copper for a bounce play.
Okay, are you equating any kind of move with the copper market to industrial activity, then falling into performance of equities?
I mean, it could, and in the past, legendary Jesse Livermore used to always say that every trader should follow copper, and in the past it has served me well. But since 2011, it really hasn't. Copper has really been in a downtrend, and I think this is the first time in a long time I'm actually even becoming interested in that metal. So when it gets down to 277, we'll re-examine it, and I think that's a spot where I'm going to step in and buy some contracts on the long side. Okay,
are you thinking that would be an investable position? In other words, you're going to be working the buy side of this as you go forward, or are you still not sure of a longer-term trend on that copper once it gets?
I mean, for me, I'll have to judge it when it gets down there and see how that play works out.
Yeah.
So once it gets there, I am thinking that there's a chance that could be a solid low for a while.
That's what I wanted. Okay.
So I do think there's a very good chance of that. But once again, it is lower from here. But I know many traders. I must get 20, 30 questions a day in my email about copper, and I just thought I'd shed some light on what I'm seeing there.
I've seen you shoot it and make when what was it, like 1 or 2 1/100ths of a penny.
Yeah.
A week out. So.
Yeah, I've had some great calls in my life in copper, and even the ones that haven't been so good weren't so bad. So I've been pretty fortunate to be able to identify the levels on using that metal.
Okay. Please go on.
Well, that's pretty much everything on my list. Another stock, though, that I would like to bring up today is this FireEye. This has been a popular name in the internet security space. Today, the stock is getting just dismantled. It's trading down $6.26. The ticker symbol is FEYE. You could see that the stock topped out really in the beginning of March, and it peaked just at around $97 and change. Today it's trading at $55. But I did isolate a bounce level for this one, and it's $49.30. So if you're gutsy and you want to take a trade on this play, don't do it till it gets down to that $49.30. That's a calculation that I did put together this afternoon for my members, and that's a spot where you could look for a significant bounce from a beaten-up equity like FireEye.
You're not. What about that big gap it's got down there, about 43 from 43 to 50?
Yeah, well, if it fails, it's going to go to that gap. But right now, I think you're going to get a bounce prior to that gap.
Perfect. All right. We got about a minute left. Give me your rendition on the S&Ps right now, what you think is going on there.
Well, tomorrow, we have that big government job report. Who knows how the market's going to react. But overall, Michael, I've had a bearish take on this market for a while. Mm-hmm. While the indexes are not down that much, many of our stocks have performed pretty nicely. And, when you get so many market leaders, I could just ring off the list to you, whether it's Priceline or...
Well, what about this pattern that's developing on J.P. Morgan?
Well, the pattern currently on J.P. Morgan is not a horror show. So, for the most part, JPM has actually held up pretty well. But you do have what I call, I like to tell traders, it's called a bearish inside bar. So I do think JPM is setting up here for one more dip down to probably the 56 level. If that level fails to hold, the stock will go test 52. And, a move from 60 to 52, even though it's only 8 points, when it comes in a stock like J.P. Morgan, that means there'll be huge downside for the stock market.
Okay, that's exactly what I wanted to get. Now, real quick, how did the trading room go today?
trading room was just dynamite. We had a dynamite session. We had some real good winners this morning, and this afternoon we traded Anadarko twice. That ticker symbol is APC. We pocketed, several dollars on that, and we also had a Facebook trade, and I forget the other one off the top of my head. I have to look at my platform. But, yeah, we had about 4 trades this afternoon, so we had a great day in the trading room today.
Events coming up for our audience?
Yeah, we'll have another In the Money Stocks Methodology webinar coming up sometime next month. But what I am going to put together for the members that have taken my advanced cycle class, what I started to do is to do a bi-monthly quick webinar, like just a little meet and greet, and we talk about all the cycles that are in play, whether it's gold, whether it's a 10-year yield, whether it's stocks, whether it's major indexes. So I've been doing that, and that one's going to come up. I believe we're going to try to do that next Saturday.
Got it. All right, Nick. Thanks, man.
Thank you, Michael. Have a great day.
You too. Nick Santiago, President and CEO of In the Money Stocks. The guy's been hitting it out of the park ever since we met him. He's been doing it before we